Hey friends, it's Alex and today I am here with my slightly late anticipated releases for April, May, June. I forgot how months worked for a second there. I nearly said April, June, July and it's like, no, that's not right. Anticipated releases for April, May, June. That's what I mean. Two of the books on this list have already come out by now because this is slightly late. So I do have them here, but I'll go through them all anyway and just share them with you. So some of these books are by authors I've read from before, and then some of them are like sequels in a series where I'm trying to collect the whole series before I start it, so I've not necessarily read anything by the author, but I'm still like anticipating the book because I want to complete my set before I start reading it. I don't normally include books where I haven't read anything by the author before in these, but I thought I may as well just do it this time because I didn't have many others otherwise for some reason. But yeah, let's just dive straight in and we'll start with April releases. So the first one is one that I already have, and that is The No-Show by Beth O'Leary. I love Beth O'Leary's books so much. I've read all three of the ones she's published so far. The Flat Share is still my favourite. But every book she releases now I'm just like automatically buy it. She is an auto-buy author. I'm also probably going to listen to this one on audiobook because the cast sounds awesome and I'm just really excited to check this one out. And as far as I am aware, it seems to follow three women who all meet this one guy. The synopsis kind of makes it look like all on the same day but at different times. But I'm not actually sure if that is the case. They seem to be waiting, like they'd arranged to meet with him and he doesn't show up. Oh yeah, it is all on the same day because it's on Valentine's Day, okay. They like have arranged to meet with him and he just doesn't show up for all three of these different women, but it's all like they're all expecting the same guy. And it just sounds really interesting and I'm really intrigued to check it out. I don't really know much more about it. I don't need to. It's Beth O'Leary and I know I want to read it. Oh, and that one came out on the 12th of April. I'm not good with months today. That one came out on the 12th of April. The next one on my list, I think it also came out on the 12th of April. On my spreadsheet I have it down as the 14th, which is tomorrow when I'm filming this, but I actually have the book and I have had it for a few days and I've just checked on Goodreads and Goodreads says the 12th, so I'm not really sure what the release date is, but I think it's out. I have a copy anyway, so it must be out. And that is The Romantic Agenda by Claire Kahn. Again, I have read one of Claire Kahn's books and I absolutely loved it. I've read Let's Talk About Love, and so when I heard about this one, which also follows an asexual main character, I was like, yes, definitely need to pick that one up. It's also not YA, which I like. There's nothing wrong with YA, I'm just kind of growing out of it a bit, so I'm glad that this one isn't, so hopefully I'll enjoy it a bit more. But yeah, I'm super excited to get to this one. I'm going to read you the synopsis because there seems to be a lot going on, so I'll just read out what it says on the back to you. 30, flirty and asexual, Joy is secretly in love with her best friend, Malcolm, but she's never been brave enough to say so. When he unexpectedly announces that he's met the love of his life, and no, it's not Joy, she's heartbroken. Malcolm invites her on a weekend getaway and Joy decides it's her last chance to show him exactly what he's overlooking. But maybe Joy is the one missing something, or someone, and his name is Fox. Fox sees a kindred spirit in Joy and decides to help her. He proposes they pretend to fall for each other on the weekend trip to make Malcolm jealous. But spending time with Fox shows Joy what it's like to not be the third wheel, and there's no mistaking the way he makes her feel. Could Fox be the romantic partner she's always deserved? And that's the other thing as well that I really, really like about Claire Kahn's books, is that, or at least Let's Talk About Love and this one, the main character is asexual but not a romantic, which is what I am, and a lot of books with asexual characters, the character is also a romantic, and like obviously that's good to have that representation as well because there are people around like that, but it's also just nice for me to find some books where the main character is asexual but not a romantic and still has a romance, because that's more relatable for me, I guess. So So yeah, very excited to get to this one, and it either came out on the 12th or it comes out tomorrow, and I don't really know, but I'm gonna lean towards the 12th because it's here. Okay, so those are the only two on the list that I already have. So the rest are, I think actually the rest aren't released yet. There's one that comes out tomorrow and then the rest are later on in the month. So I'll just carry on with the April ones. I have 3 more April ones. So I have The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne, and it is the sequel to The Shadow of the Gods. I have not read The Shadow of the Gods, and I've never read any other book by John Gwynne, but I heard about it, and also The Shadow of the Gods, the first book, has a dragon on the cover and I love dragons, so I picked it up. I have got a copy pre-ordered, so hopefully that will arrive soon. And I'm excited to check it out, but I don't know how many books are going to be in the series, so I don't know when I'll be able to get to it. It's only showing 2 on Goodreads at the moment, so I don't know if that's because it's only a duology or if the 3rd book just hasn't necessarily been announced yet, but we'll see. And so the series, the Bloodsworn saga, it's got a little snippet about that which I'll read to you. It says, set in a brand new Norse-inspired world and packed with myth, magic and bloody vengeance, The Shadow of the Gods begins an epic new fantasy saga from best-selling author John Gwynne. And I'm just intrigued to check it out. Like I said, I think it has dragons in, which is my favourite. And The Hunger of the Gods book 2 comes out on the 14th as well, so tomorrow. So the next book that comes out in April is Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse, and that one comes out on the 19th of April. And it is the sequel to Black Sun. It's the sequel to Black Sun. So it's book 2 in Between Earth and Sky series. And again, I don't really know a whole lot about it. I just picked it up because it was getting a load of hype and it sounded really interesting and I wanted to check it out. But I'd like to marathon my series, so I haven't started it yet. I'm waiting for all the books, so hopefully that will happen soon. And the series is inspired by the civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americans and woven into a tale of celestial prophecies, political intrigue and forbidden magic. And it just sounds really cool and the cover's really pretty and I'm excited to finally get to it. And then the last April release that I am anticipating is also another sequel, and this time it's the 3rd book in a series and I believe it's a trilogy, so I will actually be able to read this one soon. Hopefully I will get to it this year. And the book is The Girl in the Moon by Mark Lawrence, and it's book 3 in the Book of Ice series, or Book of the Ice. I got the first book in an Illumicrate box and it just sounded really interesting, so I've been like collecting them up as they come out, and this is the last one and I'm excited for it to come out so I can finally read the series. And it sounds like the series is set in a world that's like just ice and really cold and it's really hard to survive, and anyone who is different gets thrown into like a pit in this ice, just left to die, which sounds awful. And it's following someone who is different and I assume gets thrown in the pit, and I'm just really intrigued by it. And The Girl and the Moon comes out on the 28th of April. So those are all the April releases that I am looking forward to. Next up I have some May releases. So the first May release on the list is I Kissed Chara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. I am anticipating this one obviously because it's on my list, but I'm kind of a bit like not really sure about it. I read Red, White and Royal Blue and I didn't really love it, and then I read One Last Stop and really loved it, so I don't really know where I'm going to fall with it. And then it's also YA, whereas Casey McQuiston's other books were adult and I'm just not super into YA anymore, so like that's another thing that makes me like, am I going to like it? But because of how much I loved One Last Stop, I do want to give it a try. And this one follows Chloe Green, who a month before graduation is kissed by Chara Wheeler and then Chara disappears. And when Chloe's trying to find out where Chara's gone, she discovers that Chara kissed 2 other people as well, and so they all kind of work together to try and find her and follow some clues. So it does sound quite interesting, and I have got high hopes for it. I am hoping to enjoy it as much as One Last Stop, or at least more than Red, White and Royal Blue. But we'll see about that one. And that one comes out on the 3rd of May. The next May release on my list is Book of Night by Holly Black, and I don't really know why I've put this one on my list because I have read Holly Black's books in the past and I've not been a fan of any of them. but this is her first adult book, and it is said to be for fans of Ninth House, which I really enjoyed. So I'm going to give it a go. I am intrigued. I do want to check it out. It's also getting a lot of hype, which is making me interested. And this one seems to be set in a world where shadows can be altered and feelings can be altered, but manipulating someone's shadow has a cost. I don't really know what that means. I will be intrigued to find out. And it follows Charlie Hall, who is a low-level con artist, and she works as a bartender and is trying to distance herself from like all the shadow manipulating. I think that's what I'm getting from it. So yeah, I'm interested to check that one out, but I don't really have... I mean, I am hoping to enjoy it, but I won't be surprised if I don't. I'll put it that way. It wouldn't surprise me if I didn't end up enjoying it, because I've not enjoyed her books in the past. And that one also comes out on the 3rd of May. Next on the list is Forging Silver into Stars by Bridget Kemmerer. I have read a few of Bridget Kemmerer's books and I really enjoyed them, especially her fantasy book, A Curse of Dark and Only. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. It's the start of a new fantasy series for her, which I'm excited about. And this one is set in a world where magic has been banished and people don't like it because it's dangerous and they don't really want anything to do with it. And then throughout the book, the main characters Jax and Kaylin, I think, find out that magic has returned to this world and people are not happy about it. So I'm intrigued by that one as well. I do think I'm going to enjoy this one because I've enjoyed Bridget Kemmerer's books in the past, so it's not really anything like new or out there for me, and I'm intrigued to give that one a go. And that one also comes out on the 3rd of May. And then the last May release is The Merciless Ones by Namina Forna, which is the sequel to The Gilded Ones. I have not read The Gilded Ones, but it's one I'm definitely interested in checking out, and so I definitely want to pick up the sequel so that I can read them back to back once again. I don't know how long this series is going to be though, so I don't know if this is it or if there's another one. I'm hoping it's a duology, that would be nice. And this series is following Decca, I think, who is coming up to her blood ceremony, which will apparently determine whether she will become a member of the village. And it sounds like during the blood ceremony they want to be... It sounds like they revealed the colour of their blood, and the desirable colour is red, but in her ceremony it's revealed that she has gold blood, which is apparently the colour of impurity. And so then a mysterious woman comes and offers her a chance to like be part of the Emperor's army, and this army is made up of girls like her, and apparently they're near immortal. And that one is a YA fantasy series, which I am kind of growing out of, but there are some that still intrigue me, and that one is one of them, so I'm excited to get the second book. It is, I've just checked, it is going to be a trilogy, so I'll have to wait for the third one, but because it's YA it probably won't take me very long to read when it's all finally published, so I'm looking forward to that. And that one comes out on the 26th of May. And then I only have one July release on the list at the moment. I don't know if more will get added as we get closer to July, but the one on the list at the moment is The Blood Traitor by Lynette Noni, and that is the 3rd book in the Prison Healer series, and I'm pretty sure it's the last, so I'll be able to read that series soon. It is another YA fantasy series, so not necessarily like super my thing anymore, but I am intrigued by this one because Lynette Noni is Australian and I really like to just read more Australian authors. And it does sound really interesting, and it also really reminds me, the synopsis of the first book kind of reminds me of An Ember in the Ashes, and I have just seen on Goodreads that the Prison Healer series is apparently for fans of Sabathir, so that makes sense. And it follows 16-year-old Kiva Meriden, and she is in a death prison and she works as the prison healer. And then one day the rebel queen is captured and is like ordered to undergo a trial by ordeal, but I believe that it kind of sounds like the rebel queen is too ill to like be able to complete it. So Kiva volunteers to do it in her stead, and apparently no one's ever survived this trial. So yeah, I'm really intrigued by that series. Even though it is YA fantasy and that's not necessarily my favourite anymore, I am intrigued to give this one a go and check it out. And I have been wanting to read some of Lynette Noni's books for a while, and this one sounds more appealing than her other series, which is also very long. And that one comes out on the 14th of June. And then I just want to quickly mention on here as well, it's not a book, but it's based off a book, and I'm very excited for it. I'm highly anticipating it, so I'm going to put it in here too. And that is the Heartstopper Netflix show, which is, the first episode is coming out on the 22nd of April, so that's super close, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to watch it. The trailer came out today, the day that I'm filming this, and it looks amazing. It's so cute. I really cannot wait for this show, and I also need to like catch up on the series because I've only read the first 2 volumes. But yeah, I'm also highly anticipating that show, and I will be watching that as it comes out. So those are my anticipated releases for April, May and June. I'll be back hopefully closer towards the end of June than the middle of July for the July, August and September ones. Let me know what releases you're anticipating for the next few months. Leave them in the comments. I always love hearing about new books. Let me know if you're excited for Heartstopper, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!